Hey guys, welcome back to Fanholes Podcast. And today we're going to be just talking about some current comic book stuff, just kind of what the fanholes have been reading lately. Some of us have been reading a lot of different comics and everything, and we've been kind of itching to get a bunch of stuff off our chest. So this might not be something that we're all prepared for. You know, not all of us have been reading the same thing as everybody else, but we'll just go ahead and sort of roll with the punches and ask questions as they come, and we'll just go ahead and get right down into it. And so basically we're just going to be talking about some current comics and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I know Justin's got a bunch of stuff he wants to talk about. So I'll let Justin start us off with some series that he's been reading lately and what he wants to get into.
So I kind of didn't want to read iVampire just because it's like vampires and I'm vampire overload.
So did he sparkle? Like, was it scary? Was it not?
There was no sparkling, and there was no there was like kind of the love story going on, but it didn't like make me like pull my eyes out with a spoon or anything. But mostly I was interested in this because they had a crossover with Justice League Dark, which is a pretty good series. Like, I enjoy it, but they crossed over, and I never did read the iVampire stuff, and it didn't make much sense to me. And it kind of bothered me, so I went back and I reread all the Justice League Dark stuff. It took place before the iVampire crossover, and then I went back and read all the iVampire stuff. iVampire is not like iCarly, Brian.
We just got a text from Brian who's asking if iVampire, spelled kind of like an iPod, is like iCarly, but it's actually I, vampire, like yeah. I'm a fucking vampire is what.
No interest.
Is, so.
I'm outie.
Yeah, I know.
But basically,
go read about Condor and Powerhouse. And
stuff. F you.
The main character is this guy named Andrew Bennett, and he's like this vampire who's been around for like a long, long time, and his girlfriend is all to crazies, and there's like kind of like Buffy, where they have this thing where it's like there's vampires who drink blood, and there's ones who just like Angel, just kind of eat the they catch rats and they drink blood from like the hospital IV bags or whatever. So
they sing Mandy.
No, there's no singing or dancing, but they kind of have this falling out, Andrew and his girlfriend, and basically his girlfriend turns full on evil and is like slaughtering humans and all this stuff, and that's basically the book. It's like kind of a struggle between two vampires, and it's like, oh, there's drama because it's his ex-girlfriend and he still loves her even though she's completely crazy and evil. Andrew Bennett, the main guy from iVampire, teams up with Justice League Dark for a few issues. Even beyond the crossover, he kind of helps him out with some stuff. But it's a pretty interesting book. Like I said, I avoided it because I was overloaded on vampires, but it's pretty good. So if you like,
I read some Justice League Dark, but I haven't read really much of anything of iVampire beyond that first issue. But do you think is Andrew Bennett like? Is he a lot like his, like, I guess, pre-New 52, like, counterpart? Have you read anything, like, in terms of, like, what, House of Mystery or House of Secrets or wherever he had his big start, or
no.
Do you know anything about that?
No, I've not read any of that previous stuff. Some other stuff I've been reading, though, is an 80s series called Amethyst. And I got interested in this because it's one of the books that will be coming back I guess September with like issue 0, like Amethyst. Well, it'll be known as like Gem World, I think, when it comes back. And Phantom Stranger, I'm looking forward to that. But I remembered Amethyst as a kid. I'd see it, and I just never bothered with it. I sat down, I read the first mini-series, which is like 12 issues and an annual. And I'm on issue 6 of the second series, which is like 16 issues. And it's really good. It's, sword and sorcery. It's basically like a mature version of She-Ra. Because you have this girl, and she's like 13 or 14 when it starts, and she ends up being transported to this other world. And when she's in this other world, Gem World, she becomes like a 20-year-old, but she still has her, 13-year-old personality in this 20-year-old's body. And she's like having to deal with like this, big bad guy, Dark Opal, who's like trying to conquer the whole Gem World realm. And she's got this prince who's always like, kissing on her and like wanting to hook up with her and all this stuff. It kind of makes her uncomfortable. And she's like, I'm only 13, but I kind of like this guy. And then,
so does it remind you a little bit of Captain Marvel, aka Shazam? So we don't confuse the kiddies as well because of the whole 13-year-old in a older person's body. But just does that change it at all with a female dynamic instead of a male dynamic for you, or is it kind of the similar kind of funny stuff?
Yeah, it's just similar funny stuff. Like the She-Ra meets Captain Marvel is a good description of the book, but. Whenever she goes back to Earth, like I figured she just goes back and forth between Earth and Gem World, so I'm like, oh, she's on Earth, it's going to be boring. But there's quite a few interesting like supporting characters when they actually get to Earth. Like she has like a best friend who ends up getting drugged to Gem World, and they're still like developing that character. But it's a really good series. I'm looking forward to finishing all this Amethyst and getting the Gem World number 0, I guess, when it comes out.
I know that Amethyst is supposed to be another one of the shorts that they're planning on doing some stuff with on DC Nation as well. So maybe by the time we talk about that, there'll be some Amethyst Gem World shorts as well to look at.
That'd be cool. Just really quick, one last thing. I've also been reading a lot of like old Rawhide Kid comics. I can't remember what issue, but kind of like how X-Men became reprints until like issue 93 or 94. Rawhide Kid also became reprints for quite a while, so I've just been reading some of those reprinted stories, and they're a lot of fun. Like I've only read one issue that was like a 2-parter, and I had to read the second issue. They're just mostly, done in one stories. It's like, Rawhide Kid's accused of like, rustling some cattle, but it wasn't him, but he gets in jail anyway, and he has to like prove his innocence and stuff. But they're a lot of fun. I've been looking for the issue where he ends up fighting, I can't think of the character's name, but it's like, the Living Totem. It's like a famous issue. It's like, one of those crazy Stanley off the wall things where you've got like a cowboy fighting like a living totem pole. I haven't came across that one yet, but I've really enjoyed reading Rawhide Kid, and it's definitely better than the recent Rawhide Kid comics they've came out, which I did not like at all. I guess for the listeners who don't know, there were 2 miniseries a few years ago where they brought Rawhide Kid back, but they brought him back and all of a sudden he's gay, which I don't have a problem with the gay character. It's just I don't like them throwing out like 45 years of like continuity, because you have in the old series you have all these stories where he's like, he's like helping out on a ranch and he falls in love with like the woman who's running the ranch. And I'm like, oh, well, is this story not in continuity? Was he just like pretending to like her?
Is it? I guess what it's supposed to be like one of those Max miniseries, right? Where they're like fuck all the continuity, we're just gonna write whatever type thing. And like I remember he was all kind of sassy and stuff, where he would like it'd be like, imagine like Megan Fox and Jonah Hex comes by and it's like, oh girl, I don't want to hear your sass,
Yeah, it's like you read Rawhide Kid, like the 60 stuff that I'm reading, and then you read him in those 2 miniseries, and it's just, they may as well just create a new character. I don't know why they just didn't do that, but take my opinion, don't read the Max Rawhide Kid miniseries. Did
you read the Timothy Truman stuff, that Apache Skies and that other thing that with all the Western characters? Like, isn't Rawhide Kid in that too? Or
I never did read that Apache Sky. Like, I read the I think it was called Blazing Saddles.
Oh, okay.
I know I posted about it on Bot Talk, which Blazing Saddles, it's like it takes all the Western heroes, they team up, and it's as though like this is a tale set in like, I guess, reality. Like their other adventures with like fighting the totem pole guy, it's like those were just like dime novel stories that people made just to sell books and stuff. And like,
well, what did you think of that?
It was pretty good. Like, the only thing that kind of like didn't make sense to me, I guess, was the Phantom Rider, the Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, yeah.
In this, he's he's a black guy. So I'm like, well, wait, the Phantom Rider originally was like, a white guy.
Yeah.
And then that guy got killed. Another guy took over as Phantom Rider. And then there's a modern-day Phantom Rider because he raped Mockingbird and she let him die. So I'm like, how many Phantom Riders are there? It's like, all these Phantom Riders are confusing me. It's just...
Yeah.
They kind of go into that in the Hawkeye and Mockingbird series, and there's the one from the past that like tried to rape Mockingbird. Then there's the present day one, and then they introduced a third one, which is the present day one's daughter.
It's weird.
Yeah.
but overall, like the Blazing Saddles miniseries, it was pretty good. Like, not everyone survives, which. Again, it's like continuity hurting my head because, like, I'll just spoil it. Two Gun Kid gets killed. I'm like, but wait, he dies at the first issue of Marvel's project, like in the 1941, before World War II starts for the United States. I'm like, well, wait a minute, this can't be the really for reals Western tale if he died. Like,
yeah. Doesn't he still have to team up with Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna read some Two Gun Kid comics here pretty soon. Like, I like Two Gun Kid, and he showed up in Slot's She-Hulk, which I thought was pretty good. Like, I actually like that.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? I had you people try to get a little track lead, not to jump around like a bunch of Kansas City faggots.
Everyone should just give up like Rob Liefeld.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of that, I tried to read Deathstroke number 8 or 9 or whenever he started because I was thinking, man, Lobo versus Deathstroke, that's got to be the coolest thing ever. And I don't think I got like 10 pages into it before I put it back down. I was like, this fucking sucks so bad. Like, so hard. Like, I couldn't do it.
So hard. How long has Liefeld been on Deathstroke? Like, or what?
Like 4 months, I think.
Oh, okay.
4 or 5 months. As of this recording.
Like, is Deathstroke even a bad guy anymore, or what is the whole, like...
I think he's like he's supposed to be a mercenary for hire. Like, I don't really understand. I read the first issue, and then I read those 10 pages of issue number 9, and or 8, or whenever Liefeld took over. I can't remember which issue it was.
Does, like, he even have a history with the Titans anymore, or what? Like,
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, the Titan stuff is confusing because they acted like some issues like Batwoman act like there's this big long history, and then other issues like stuff that like Scott Lobdell wrote and like the regular Teen Titans, they act like it's the first time there's ever been a Teen Titans. So it's kind of like to me, I think Deathstroke's just his own dude and doesn't really have any history with the Teen Titans. It's like, who they introduced in it, though, which, Justin, you might vomit at, because I think you're probably the only person who probably knows these characters, but, like, they had the Omega Men in it, but, like, Rob Liefeld drew them, so I didn't even realize they were, like, the fucking Omega Men until they started naming them, and I'm like, holy shit, like, that's Tigor, and that's, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's really funny. Like, so, if you like the Omega Men, like, and you're fans of the Omega Men at all, like, definitely do not read Liefeld's run on Deathstroke, like, because you'll just look at it and you'll be like, oh my god, like they all look like Youngblood characters, like Tigor looks like that guy, like Cougar from Youngblood, like he looks like exactly the same, like, but dumber. Yeah.
Where's Dutch?
Dutch is out getting silver turd logs for his headpiece or whatever those are.
This sounds like something that, like, I don't want to see, but, like, a car wreck, I have to, like...
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought maybe that's kind of why I was excited about it, because I'm like, oh, this is Liefeld and Deathstroke and Lobo. Like, I bet you it's awesome, like, awesomely bad. But, like, I don't know. I couldn't handle it. Maybe I'll try to get into it again, but I couldn't do it.
I read his run on Hawk and Dove, like, I didn't think it was terrible. Like, some of it was actually pretty
that wasn't. I read that. Like, that wasn't that horrible.
Sometimes the artwork was pretty bad. Like, there's I think it was the first or second issue. There's like a close-up on some woman's face, and I mean, it was just so completely asymmetrical. I was just like, how did this even get in the book? Like, why didn't somebody stop?
What's wrong with your face?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's like a plastic surgeon who like reattached the nipples onto the wrong spot or something. And
I still don't get why he gets so much work.
I don't know.
He must sell. He just sells. Yeah.
Well, he does. He obviously has his fans and stuff like that. I mean, I remember back in the 90s when it was supposed to be like, Rob Liefeld's super cool, and like Wizard was like, Rob Liefeld's cool, and everybody's like, Rob Liefeld's cool and stuff. I bought like X-Force and New Mutants and stuff, so I'm not gonna like lie and say I didn't buy all that stuff when I was a kid. You know, I mean, I bought Youngblood when I was a kid too, but like, you know, I mean, I don't know. It depends on like your perspective and stuff, because I think when, you know, to me, like, I had that kind of coming of age where, you know, it's like at the time I probably wouldn't have been like, dude, what? Jack Kirby? Like Steve Ditko? That's old, like, you know, stuff or whatever. But, you know, to me, I'm like, you know, that was kind of just a young, stupid kid that didn't know anything, you know? So, you know, like, I mean, obviously, like, I like Jack Kirby's work a lot and Steve Ditko and stuff like that. So it's like one of those things where, I don't know, you know, it's like,
yeah.
Maybe Liefeld's fans, or, you know, not to insult any of his fans, but maybe they're just people who never had that coming of age. You know, they still like the same old kind of, you know, quote unquote KEWL cool that is Rob Liefeld or whatever.
I will insult Rob Liefeld's fans by saying, stop buying his books.
It's like, you know, Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange, lame. Give me Gen 13. What? What's wrong with you?
I want a Cable whose legs are twice as long as his body. God damn it!
You know, all I ask is that Cable's metal arm stays on either the right arm or the left arm consistently for the entire issue. It doesn't swap between arms. Like, that's all I ask. And obviously, Liefeld can't deliver that, but.
It's his little virus he's got, Derek. It's like acting up.
It's like, dude, my virus is itchy. It jumped from one arm to the other arm, to the other arm, to the other arm. Wait, isn't it a coincidence that the punching arm always has the techno-organic virus arm? I'm all interesting. It's like, well, we could blame it on the colorist if only Rob Liefeld didn't specifically draw all those Cable-looking metal niches in the arm.
What about his eye? Did he ever have trouble keeping the eye consistent?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure that was an issue. I'm sure it was.
You're like, I can say with confidence that I'm sure that was an issue.
I can say with confidence that the arm definitely switched. I remember like X-Force and New Mutants issues where he was punching somebody, and then the next panel it was supposed to be like a left-right punch. But with Rob Liefeld, he probably started with a right punch because he doesn't know how to box, and then he went to the left punch because he doesn't know how to box, and then both those arms are like on the wrong. You know what I mean? It's like the techno-organic arm started on the right arm, and then it went to the left arm, and I'm kind of like, you can't do that, dude. It's not physically possible. So yeah, I guess we kind of got off on a little we hate Rob Liefeld tangent here, but you know, whatever. You know, we wanted to update you on some new comics that we'd been reading, or I guess maybe some classic comics that we've been delving into, like the Rawhide Kid and Amethyst and stuff like that. And yeah, so keep listening to Fanholes, and you know, check us out on the blog spot, send us emails at Gmail and all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Derek WC, signing off.
Mike Thunderwing.
Justin Goodblock.
Peace.
I like Liefeld that I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny that when a dude walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a thunder thought in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull out your tuck cause you notice that pouch was stuffed? Shoulders in the pants he's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh, baby, I wanna get with ya and take your picture. Cooper School tried to warn me, but that pouch you got makes me so horny. I'm tired of magazines saying thunder thighs ain't the thing. Take the average fanboy and ask him that. He gotta be like six-pack. So fellas, does your grifter got the pouch? Tell him to shake it. Shake that healthy pouch. Baby got pouch. Baby got pouch. Baby got pouch. Rob likes guns round and big, and when he's penciling a gig, Rob just can't help himself. He acting like an animal, referring scandal. I wanna get you home, and double up, I ain't talking about Jim Lee Superboy, cause Infinite Crisis Armor is made for toys. Grifter got it going on, but a lot of haters won't like the song, cause there's some punks like anatomically correct shit. Rob likes to stay and play, cause he draws cybernetic arms long and strong, no matter which arm they on. So heroes, if you wanna see all them zeros, then swipe abound, splash page your mouth. Even DC boys got to shout. Baby got pouch. Baby got pouch.